Unicorn Overlord was the most recent one you've played. I think probably more indie games are are filling the space. You know, the games industry is just kind of in a oh, glad I saved. Well, Axelrod, we meet once more, for the last time, I fear, as you will die here. My minions shall take care of you, but if they fail, I await you in Demon Castle. What is this? Bow Rider. Assault Shell. 40 attack. Belial, you have Bolt. Oh, there's a place down here. Okay. Plenty of series still alive and kicking, producing more JRPGs from bigger companies. This is very true. Let alone smaller projects. It just takes one several years in the case of, say, a Persona. That's kind of the problem that we're in right now, isn't it? That games just take too long to make. From the AAA, you know, major game companies out there. By all respects, games should not take... You would think that games shouldn't take that long to make. It gets even crazier too, because we go back to this era of, you know, like 1996, and and games were made in a year, 2 tops. Well, it's just one of those things where it's like, how have we gotten to this point where games were taking a year or 2 to games taking, you know, upwards of 10, 15 years to make in some cases. It's pretty crazy. Haven't played a AAA game in 10 years. I would say you're missing out, but, you know, well, I guess that particular line of thought would not work, but stuff and stuff with the stuff and stuff. You're making your way through Unicorn Overlord as well. It's really good fun. You just stepped into that area. Oh, okay. Watch out for that artillery shell gunner centaur thing. You can't fly over mountains. That's interesting. That's... Is that always the case? Those guys are flying over mountains. Definitely depends on your scope of library, but you reckon including small indie projects on Steam over the last 40 odd years, talking something in the thousands, if not magnitude beyond that. Oh yeah, there's a ridiculous amount of indie games out there, and they just multiply. Oh, show. You see AAA, you think batteries. I also think of the car insurance. Peoples? Although I more know them for their, like, you know, you get a flat tire or something like that, you can tow your car back to wherever you need it to go. Ooh, I really thought you were gonna go after those. Get low. I need you to kill this guy. You have so much attack and he has so little defense. You let me down, Xylo. You let me down. Like, AAA games don't deserve that title anymore with the amount of unfinished games coming out. You know, I don't think I have a proper response for that. AAA games industry certainly has put themselves in a position where you know, they're doing some weird stuff, blanketed by a thick fog. That kind of looks like confusion. Especially when indie developers are able to pump out superior quality. It's certainly very interesting. Obviously, there's bureaucracy and things like that you have to deal with when you're playing, or when you're like a video game studio. So, you know, that much, oh my gosh. That much I very much understand. It's not you that has the spell. Someone else. So yeah, like, obviously there's bureaucracy and all that other crazy stuff they have to deal with in studios. And, you know, indie games, more often than not, it's just, you know, like, okay, how are we going to figure out how to keep this game alive? Because, you know, like, they ran out of funding, or, you know, whatever it may be. Okay, Dispel only works on enemies. I don't know how to cure confusion. Indie games made by one or two devs that are amazing just proves that good devs are doing their own thing. It's also really remarkable to see. Wow, you killed that guy. Indie developers are definitely doing lots of super interesting and awesome things out there. Alright, let's walk you back. Domingo. Not only unfinished games, but devs who rely on their community to prop them up, like Bethesda. Their diehard fan base is so incredibly... Oh boy, that's a word I've never seen. Allegiant? It almost feels like they've taken up duty to relentlessly support their untouchable dev overlords. In spite of games like Fallout 76, which would absolutely kill many studios, even relatively notable ones like Japan Studio, but they just trot on regardless because they need not care. Well, I would say that Bethesda did not... the best way to say this, like, Bethesda didn't get away with Fallout 76, and they didn't get away with that other game, Fallout 4. You know, people definitely called them out, and those games got the you know, like, I want to say recognition, but that's not what I want. You know, it's like anti-recognition. By the way, this is by far the worst battle in the game, and it's not even close. Wow, 4 attack, 3 defense. Give me some MP. Yeah, that was an amazing level. So far, this battle is not too bad. I can see how someone would take this battle as not being very great because we're going over a bunch of mountains and it's super slow. Oh, I certainly recognize that. Oh, you're dead. You're at 1 HP. What a god. Low and boring. It'll certainly be very, very slow for me because most of my units are horse people. And apparently my flying units can fly over mountains for some reason. But the enemy flying units can fly over mountains. Oh, you can fly over mountains. I guess that comment about hover units is quite accurate. There's some companies that you're very cautious purchasing from these days. Electronic Arts and Blizzard, to name a couple. I'm not necessarily sure I would say that I'm cautious of purchasing from specific studios, but that might be an incorrect thing for me to say, because there are certainly instances where I just, like, I hear a studio and I'm just like, you know, I'm not interested in that. You know, no matter what they put out. But also at the same time, like, I feel like if I have done that, it's not very often. I certainly, off the top of my head, I don't think I've at least in recent times, been like, okay, you know, this game is from that studio, therefore I am not going to play that game solely on the fact that it comes from a specific studio. Ooh, that was a really bad spot to move. My Firefox just died, and so did my chat. Let me restore that real quick. Trying to think, like, what games? You know, so you're referring to developers and publishers, Aeromio, in that particular example. And in that, I get. But I also like to throw it out there that it's very important to recognize that it's not always the publisher that is making decisions that the gamers don't necessarily like. And my go-to example for that is Destiny. You know, everybody loved Destiny 1, and, you know, they thought it was an amazing game, yada yada, this and that. And we get around to Destiny 2, and, you know, they get bought by, Bungie gets purchased by Activision, and you know, everybody's like, oh, you know, the decline of Destiny, you know, like, you totally see it, you know, Activision is forcing Bungie to make all these terrible decisions for the game and whatnot. And, you know, then Bungie leaves Activision, and Bungie is still doing all these crazy things that, you know, the Destiny players don't necessarily like. So I also think it's important to recognize that sometimes even developers or even publishers like Activision or Electronic Arts that have these very poor reputations amongst the gamers aren't actually always making the decisions that we find ourselves feeling like they are. Sometimes the developers just want to be doing some extra stuff. Well, that was very unexpected of you. Which HP do you have? 6? Right, Domingo. Take a chance with me. Don't do more than 15 damage, please. Alright. Another couple of perfect examples of half-talented devs untouchable from the raging seas of corporate business or ethics for that matter. Oof. Oof. See, I fully recognize, you know, if someone said Electronic Arts has made some decisions that I don't agree with, and, you know, they've put the games industry in a spot that makes it very difficult to find appeal in or something like that, you know, I'd be like, okay, you know, I get it. But I also feel that Electronic Arts has not made every decision that their games are like responsible for, I guess, or whatever. Did you heal or something? Could have sworn I did more than 4 damage with my ice spell. Also, I am losing this battle. Oh, you just did more damage. I have to keep Gort there because he needs to get healed. I think you are getting healed. Blue might die from this. Blue, that was not ideal. Alrighty. You're not going to do 11 damage. Refusing to acknowledge the size of the problem is in support of festering further like many other issues in the world. Remember when you said the other day, in spite of your fair share of Hearthstone, you are proudly free to play? This is something I do remember. I think they're mismanaged mostly. Management drove away their experienced team with poor decisions, not to mention the executive team deciding to make some pretty questionable choices to maximize profits at the expense of customer satisfaction. As a marketer yourself, that's always a no-no. One of the things that... So... What's a good way that I could say this? Oh, I didn't heal. One of the things that we as gamers recognize, but like never apply credence to, is the fact that, or at least enough credence, I guess, is the fact that the video game companies out there are in fact businesses, and like we like to hand wave that a lot of the times, but you know, they're beholden to greater powers out there, and to me it makes me think, where should we be targeting said, you know, like animosity and dislike and disdain and whatnot? Because I guess what I'm trying to say is, if the answer to our problem, or the cause of our problem, is shareholders and or investor culture and things like that, then perhaps we would get more mileage out of being disappointed or targeting our criticisms towards that particular issue, rather than, you know, oh, this game developer screwed up my favorite franchise of all time, and, you know, it's a harem JRPG instead of a tactics game. Level 20. Big level. Alright, is level 20 the max? Got 0 experience, so that's definitely not helpful. I'm gonna have to get you like 1 experience. As well as the pretty scandalous reports of mistreating women in their business. Yeah, that as a whole is you know, The best thing that I can say is, what the heck are you doing? Like, what is going on? Firmly in the camp of a dissatisfied client base leads to greater long-term profits. You know, there is a saying out there that the right wording here is escaping me, but it's something along the lines of, you know, like, bad marketing is still good marketing, or something like that. You know, like, as long as you're still talking about us, then we're okay with it. And I did see your comment there, Sir ABCDE, but I have to, you know, I gotta check it for myself. Oh, he got 9 experience. Therefore, I must continue. Possible he gets stuck at 99, but we'll have to test it out. Trying to go through as blind as possible. You know, stuff and stuff. With the stuff and stuff. Also, Pell killed that guy. Go Pell. Or Pelé. Or Pelé. At least there's not been any reinforcements. At least we got that going for us. Business with cutthroat mentalities, and conversely why the layman's public opinion is far more impactful than your elite top ranks for any competitive game dev priorities. Just because you make logical rationale for their decisions does not reduce our anguish for making them, especially when they're morally questionable. Very, very fair. And, you know, I'm not saying that, you know, there's no fault that lies with game developers when they, you know, make a very, very poor decision. Alright, getting through this is going to be very tough, because these two mages are a problem. I'm not 100% sure how I want to solve that problem. Hold off on you. Oh, you're approaching? That's interesting. You don't hate them for it? You just won't buy their stuff? You very rarely buy day one nowadays. Wait till a good load of reviews are around before making your choice. Homeworld 3 makes you sad. I think it depends on the game for me. I would say that I am buying less and less day one purchases as the years have been going on. And I would say that there has been some like some reason for that has been the state of games. But there's a game right now that I want to play, but I quote unquote can't play it, or like I don't want to play it because it just released like an update to it that added a bunch of stuff, and they have this roadmap where they're going to add, you know, more things to it across, like down the line. And so in this weird way, roadmaps and these different ways of kind of what's the way I want to say, like supporting your game has been like a less incentivizing reason to buy it right away, because you don't want to play it right away. You're gonna want to play it when all the content and the expansions and the DLCs are out, you know, all the free stuff. And so like I have this game that I really want to play, but I see that roadmap every time and I'm like, well, you know, if I just waited an extra 2 years or something like that, then I have access to all this stuff. But I'll probably end up playing it sooner rather than later. I don't want, I already bought it, so like not a ton of point in giving it more breathing room or whatever. Oh, you're coming for me. Well, the previous 2 homeworlds, but looks like 3 has bombed. I don't know the specific circumstances around Homeworld 3, but what I can say is I definitely feel like the market for games like Homeworld have dwindled. Real-time strategy games, basically just real-time strategy games, also known as RTSs, like games like StarCraft, Command and Conquer, and whatnot. Like those games are very much on the decline, in my eyes, anyways. Although maybe not necessarily in the sense of, you know, like these games are, you know, nobody just wants to play them anymore. It's maybe more in the sense of nobody's actually buying those games anymore. Oh, I thought you were actually gonna come after me. I was like, bring it on! I don't think Tau has done a single thing in this battle. How much defense do you have? 37 defense! Domingo! Trump isn't making it work as much as the corrupt system around him is? I don't know what that is in reference to. I need you to kill Xylo. Good job. Not to necessarily say that that's wrong, because there's certainly a lot of questionable things occurring. Oh, no, I was supposed to attack. He wasn't in range. I left him out of range. He was supposed to be in range. If there was any credibility left, he would have been behind bars, or his so-called reign was ever over. But you have to wait until they're ready, because when they're released, their game isn't actually when they were ready, but rather what they decreed their shareholders, and he's managing their interests, and those managing their interests. Well, this particular game is an indie game, I should clarify. And, I have every reason to believe that what they have released has been, what they wanted to do. Because I feel less incentivized to play, if you're referring to this, that is. I feel less incentivized to play it when there's the talk of more stuff for the future. Michaela is said to possess the sound of light. You must enter her castle and get it. With that legendary weapon, you stand a much better chance against Dark Soul. I'm gonna go back and save. That battle did take a while. With all due respect, anytime someone says with all due respect, I read it as with all disrespect that I could possibly deliver. Get ready for it. RTS and Tower Defense are on their way out with the evolution of gaming, regardless of all the corporate involvement, kind of like newspapers to the internet. Were they on their way out? StarCraft 2 was one of the biggest real-time strategy games there was. If I'm remembering correctly, it was like a gargantuan game. It's just that they didn't really take it in the direction that I guess people wanted it to go. I don't know.